Hello everyone, welcome to True Crime and Tarot. I am Natalie and today's case is based on Kyron Richard Horman. So Kyron Richard Horman was born on September the 9th, 2002 and he was born in Oregon. His hair is brown, his eye colour is blue and his height was 3'8" at this time of his disappearance and he was weighing roughly about 50 pounds. Kyron was last seen wearing a black t-shirt with the letters CSI in green and a handprint graphic on it. There was also a black cargo pants and white socks and black Skechers sneakers with some orange trim as well. He wears metal framed glasses. Kyron Richard Horman has been missing from the Skyline Elementary School in Portland, Oregon since June the 4th, 2010. And he was last seen that morning after attending a science fair at the school. If anyone has any information regarding this case, then they are to please call the tip line on 503-261-2847 or the field office in Portland as well. The local state police, along with the FBI, had conducted an exhaustive search for Kyron, and it has launched a criminal investigation but have not uncovered any significant information regarding the child's whereabouts, and his disappearance had sparked the largest criminal investigation in Oregon in history. Kyron was born on September the 9th, 2002 in Portland, Oregon to Desiree Young and Kane Horman, which was an engineer for the Intel, and Desiree and Kane Horman was divorced at 8 months into the pregnancy with Kyron. Desiree had been irreconcilable differences. The two had been granted shared custody of Kyron until 2004, but when Desiree was diagnosed with a kidney failure and required a lot of extensive medical intervention, Kane had then took over full custody then of Kyron, notwithstanding this fact that Desiree still remained an active part in Kyron's upbringing. In 2007, Kane had married Terry Morton, that was born on March the 14th, 1970, a substitute teacher that was originally from Rosenberg, Oregon, and Kane had become very romantically involved with Terry around 2001 when he and Desiree was in the midst of divorcing. Kane and Terry then was married while in Kauai. In December 2008, Terry had then given birth to a daughter, Kiara. And meanwhile, Kyron was a student at Skyline Elementary School near Forest Park on June 4th, 2010. Kyron was taken to school by his stepmother Terry, who had then been staying with him while he had attended then to this certain science fair that was going on in the school. Terry had stated that she had left the school at roughly 8:45 a.m. and that she had last remembered seeing Kyron walking down the hall to his first class, to his first lesson. However, he was never seen in his first class, a math class, and he was instead marked as absent on that day. Terry's statements to the police indicated that after leaving the school at 8:45 a.m, she had gone out and run some type of errands that she needed to do at two different Fred Meyer grocery stores until about 10:10 a.m. Between then and 11:39 a.m, Terry had stated that she was driving her daughter around town in an attempt to use the motion of the vehicle to soothe the toddler's earache. Terry had said then that she went to a local gym and she had done some working out until about 12:40 p.m. By 1:21 p.m. she had arrived home and she had posted some photos of Kyron at this science fair that went on, and she went and put this then up on Facebook. At 3:30 p.m. then, Terry and her husband Kane had walked in with their daughter Kiara to the bus stop to go and meet Kyron. And the bus driver told him then that the boy did not board the bus after school, and however to call the school to ask him, the whereabouts of Kyron, because obviously he wasn't on the bus, so they wouldn't have known. So Terry did so, only to be informed by the school secretary that as far as anyone knew, Kyron had not been at school. And this was since early that day, and that he had accordingly been marked absent, and then realising then that the boy was missing, and the secretary had called 911. So the search efforts for Kyron were very extensive, and it was primarily focused on a 2-mile radius, which is 3.2 kilometres radius around the Skyline Elementary School, and on a Sawi, or is it either Sawi or Save Island, approximately 6 miles, which is 9.7 kilometres away. The law enforcement did not disclose that their reasons for searching the area where they did, which included a search of the Savi Island Bridge on June the 9th, 2010, and also the Horman family, who had initially refused to speak with the media, released a certain statement to the press saying that Kyron's family would like to thank people for all the support and interest in finding their son, and the outpouring of the support and continued effortlessness, and it is strengthens of their hope and their need to continue to assist them in their goal of finding Kyron. So please search the properties, cars and the outer buildings and sheds, etc. And also check with your neighbours and your friends who may have been on vacation at the time and needing assistance to searching. And there are a lot of resources here to help you to search. So please don't go stopping in any of the searches. It is obviously a difficult time, and they want to speak to the public, so you can hear it from Kyron's family as they all come together to share their message. There is an objective that is to keep the focus on Kyron and not about anything else. So on June the 12th, around 300 trained rescuers were on the ground searching the wooded areas near the Skyline Elementary School. The search for Kyron, which had spanned over 10 days, was the largest in Oregon history, and it included over 1,300 searchers and a Washington and California reward post for information leading to the discovery of Kyron, which was initially $25,000, expanded to $50,000 in late July 2010. And in late June 2010, in the midst of the investigation into Kyron's disappearance, Horman was reportedly told by the investigators that Terry had offered the landscaper Rodolfo Sanchez a lot of money to try and kill her husband in January 2010. And this was 5 months before Kyron's disappearance. But when Terry's attorney, Stephen Jose, had said that if Terry had asked him to kill her husband, he said no. And the investigators convinced Sanchez to confront Terry while wearing a wire, but they were unable to obtain any evidence at this time. And this could not lead to any arrest. But on June the 28th, Kane had filed for the divorce and obtained a restraining order against Terry at this time. So the divorce was granted. Terry was eventually granted supervised visitation with her daughter during this time. And Terry had failed 2 separate polygraph examinations regarding Kyron's disappearance in August 2010. And it was announced that the law enforcement was searching for an individual allegedly seen by 2 witnesses sitting in Terry's truck outside the Skyline Elementary the day of the disappearance. Bruce McCain, a former sheriff for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, told the CBS News the identity of the second person, if he or she had existed, could be critical in the determining what happened to Kyron after 9 a.m. on June the 4th. Meanwhile, in July 2010, a Multnomah County grand jury subpoenaed several friends of Terry Horman's, including Dee Dee Speicher, whom Young and Kane Horman described as having been in very close communication with Terry and providing Terry with a lot of support and a lot of advice at this time, and that it is not the best interests of their son. According to the law enforcement, Speicher was extremely cooperative in this case and was allowed to go and search. So what they had done, they done a good search then of her property and also the car, as well as in during the 3 hours of questioning from all the detectives on the day of Kyron's disappearance. Speicher had then abruptly left her work gardening then for a certain homeowner at the residence on Germantown. This was on Germantown Road in the northwest Portland around 11:30 a.m. and had returned around 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Terry purchase a untraceable cell phone during this time, and Speicher told journalists there is this certain horror that may be the friend that is going through. If I had thought for a second that she was capable of foul play, I would not have been there, and she would have not been my friend in the first place. So in the early August 2010, both Young and Kane were very subpoenaed and had testified during the grand jury, as well as the school principal of Skyline Elementary in December 2010. It was reported by the Oregonian that the grand jury had yet to provide any compelling evidence, yielding a potential indictment by November the 29th, 2010. And this was some search efforts in Kyron's case that had cost an estimate of $1.4 million in accordance to the county commissioners, and yielded 4,257 tips. In May 2017, it was reported by KGW that a secret grand jury panel continued to hear evidence in Kyron's disappearance and have convened on multiple occasions. During the report of Kyron's case, they was described as still being active and ongoing. 2 months later, in July 2017, the law enforcement had conducted further searches along the Skyline Boulevard, but the searches yielded no further results. And in June 2018, Horman's mother, Desiree, had posted on the official Find Kyron Horman Facebook page. She had said, "Stay tuned, something big is coming, I promise you." On June the 1st, 2012, Kyron's mother, Desiree, filed a civil lawsuit against Terry, claiming that she was very responsible for the disappearance of Kyron, and the lawsuit had attempted to prove that Terry had kidnapped Kyron on the day that he disappeared. Desiree had sought the $10 million in damages from Terry, and on August the 15th, 2012, a federal court judge denied a motion by Terry to delay the lawsuit. Then in early October 2012, Speicher refused to answer any of the 142 questions posted to her during a deposition, and regarding Desiree's lawsuit, that was among all of these questions. And they were ones regarding Speicher's whereabouts on June the 4th, 2010, and her contact with Terry on that day. And she also declined to identify the photo of Kyron, whether she met with him or not, and whether she knew his father Kane during the testimony that was provided by Kane Horman in a separate hearing on the same year. He had stated that police had told them that they'll have more probable cause to think that Terry Horman was involved in Kyron's disappearance than they did 2 years ago. And on July the 30th, 2013, it was announced that Desiree had dropped the lawsuit against Terry so as not to interfere with the ongoing police investigation. And Terry Horman had appeared as a guest on the Dr. Phil show on 2016, and during which she had told Phil McGraw, "Then I was advised from the beginning by the law enforcement, by my husband at the time, by attorneys in the beginning, not to say anything. I've always wanted to. I've asked multiple times to speak out and have not been allowed." She denied having any involvement in Kyron's disappearance, and also stated her belief that he was kidnapped by adding, "There was a man in a white pickup truck, a Ford, that was parked up on the Highway 30 at the 7-Eleven, which is not near the school. He was acting very strange, and he was addressed by one of the employees because he had been pacing back and forth in front of the 7-Eleven for about an hour. There is a book called Boy Missing: The Search for Kyron Horman. And this was made by a Rebecca Morris, which was released in May 2020. And the book claimed that Kyron's regular bus driver, classmate, and two of the classmates' family members witnessed Kyron walk through a parking lot with Terry Horman and her infant daughter on June the 4th, 2010. And it says, vanished from school, season 2 episode of the TV show Real Life Nightmare on Discovery ID explores the case. And the episode aired on November the 15th, 2020. And that's what I could find out about the case so far. And this is where I come into it, and I decided to do a tarot reading on this case to see what will come out. And there is 4 specific questions I asked, which is 1, what happened to Kyron? 2, who was involved in his disappearance? 3, where is Kyron? And 4, what is the final outcome to be for his case? So what happened to Kyron Richard Horman? And I had seen some type of red fabric in my mind's eye when I was tuning into the energies of this case. There was some type of red fabric that was around him that is of specific, and I had the word choked. So I'm thinking when I had seen this piece of red fabric, this was used to help to choke him, because this is what came to me. Okay. And we also had the reverse chariot card. So there was someone who had some car issues that had a lot of repressed emotions at this time, that had the sense of lost control of everything. 6 of Wands. There was some public recognition. There was a lot of achievements going on, and there was some presentation and also winning in this presentation as well. World card. So Kyron felt really proud of himself for achieving his goal. He had a wonderful future ahead of him, and he was around his family and friends. 10 of Swords. There was some goodbyes that were said, and there was someone who was very melodramatic, that was attention seeking. There was a sense of betrayal of trust and a bitter row. There was bullying, and there was violence, and there was aggression and an assault. Ace of Pentacles. There was some winnings or some type of windfall of some kind of financial security or money involvements. Reverse Knight of Pentacles. There was a person that could have been a male who was very jealous and also possessive, who may have been a gym fanatic or body obsessed, that may have had a change in career. Reverse Knight of Swords. There was a sudden arrival with this certain person that was very blunt, out of control and rude, hurtful, that was very critical and said a lot of harsh words. There was a very big manipulator. There was a bully that got away with something. They may have had some type of speech problems or spoke very foully. Reverse Queen of Pentacles. There was a dark-haired female who was money mad. There was a money grabber who had a shallow, self-centered a sense about she was very unfriendly and untrustworthy, that was out of control, that may have had some type of weight problems, OCD, or involved in some type of an abuse. Reverse Three of Wands. There was some cancellation and delays. There was regrets and unsure of a relationship and some impatience. Lovers. There was lovers that was involved, or there was a love affair that was involved, or a relationship involving a friend. Queen Swords reverse. There was a female who was very much of a perfectionist, and that was obsessive, cold and bitter, malicious and cruel, that seeks punishment. She can be a liar, a cheat, that is divorced, that is a very wicked stepmother. 5 of Cups. There was unhappiness and mourning. There's been heartbroken and being unstable. There is remorse, regret and shame. There's guilt, wallowing in self-pity, and there is a separation and a divorce involved. King of Swords. There was a male authoritative figure who has a lot of morals, that is very communicative and thinks very logically, who is seeking fairness and justice, that is involved in legal matters or education. Reverse six of pentacles, sorry. There was an abuse of power and position. There was a lot of debts that was being owing of money. Hangman, there was a sacrifice and rushing into something and not stopping to think things through. There was someone that was being tied up and being restricted with what they could do. Seven Pentacles, there was a lot of frustrations and work to be done. There was some cleaning up and digging that was involved. There was rewards and a personal fulfillment. Temperance, there was testing the waters and harmony and putting the past in the past and getting inner peace and being successful in some dealings. Who was involved in Kyron's disappearance? Three Pentacles, there was some teamwork involved. There may have been three people. There was a lot of attention to detail that was put into it, and there was determination involving the plans that they wanted to do. Strength, they were standing up to someone that was very controlling, and they had to control their emotions and facing things head on. Reverse Page of Swords, Kyron had injuries by a sharp object. Also may have had learning difficulties, autism, a stutter, dyslexia. There was a lot of confusion that was going on. Ten of Cups, there was success by some teamwork and coming to take a truce to the end of hostilities. Reverse Two of Wands, there was a reconciliation and being tied down. There was someone holding them back and being tired of waiting. They just can't wait to get it over and done with. Two of Cups, there was a joining of two people that was giving some sense of peace of mind. There was some truce. There was a reunion, relationship decision, playing the happy couple and only having highs for one another. King of Cups, there was a male who was very calm, caring, collective, friendly, supportive and protective. That was very romantic, and he was reserved. He was very doting and loyal and starting to trust in his own gut instincts. Four Wands, there was a lot of wishing for Kyron to be safe, rooting for his safety and his return, and a lot of gatherings that was involved. Death, there was a shock and accepting and releasing what is and saying goodbyes and leaving. Reverse Two of Swords, there was feelings of being torn apart and eyes being fully open to the situation and being afraid of everything. Where is Kyron Richard Horman now? We have the Moon card. There is a very dark place where Kyron is, where people may do some illegal or shady business near water or a stream not far from the abandoned places and ruins. Three of Cups, there is a place where people get intoxicated or they tend to have some parties where some friends get together. Reverse Three of Swords, there's a lot of painful memories and violence. Hermit, there is a sense of isolation, loneliness, laying low from people. Queen of Cups, there is a woman who is very sensitive, happy, nurturing, very sweet and artistic, that can be very supportive, expresses their feelings, and that is a motherly type of figure. Six of Swords, Kyron was taken overseas. Reverse Six of Cups, there was a breach of trust from someone that Kyron had trusted, and there was secrets, and there was also child abuse involvements. What is the final outcome to be for Kyron Richard Horman's case? Justice. There is to be justice to be served and going to Kyron's family's favour. Reverse Queen of Wands. There is a female who's very melodramatic, controlling, pushy, demanding, malicious, manipulative, jealous. That is a liar and a bitch, basically, that is involved. Four Swords, there is to be keeping faith and coming to terms that Kyron is passed away. Eight Cups, there is to be someone who is turning their back knowing that there is nothing that they can do about the case, and there is someone who is still to search for answers. There is a lot of abandonment and being drained and feeling very empty, that there is a void. Ace of Wands, there is to be growth and potential and action to be taken, as there is to be stirrings in the case. There is to be some type of situation where there is a little little things that's to come up and crop up in the case. Okay then, so that is the case of Kyron Richard Horman, and that is the tarot cards that I have had for this case. If anyone enjoys my videos, please like, share, subscribe and hit the notification. And if you have any other cases you would like me to work on, then please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Till next time, please take care.